Hello there. My name is Patrick Fan, and I work within the Portfolio and Risk team here at Bloomberg. The focus of this video is to walk you through how to construct an efficient frontier using our portfolio tools on the Bloomberg terminal. Here is an example of an efficient frontier that I've built myself using our tools. Before walking you through how to construct this, I just want to touch base on what an efficient frontier is and why our clients, which include portfolio managers and investment analysts, are interested in constructing them. Now, back in 1952, an American economist called Harry Markowitz came up with the modern portfolio theory, which centered around the importance of expected returns for securities, their risk, the correlations between those securities, and the diversification effects. His theories heavily influenced how people approached investing in the financial markets at the time, and is still a cornerstone to how people approach investing today. Now, just looking at this efficient frontier here, he described the efficient frontier as a set of optimal portfolios that provide the best expected returns for a defined level of risk, or alternatively, the lowest risk level for a defined expected return. Our clients who use our portfolio tools to construct these frontiers do so to give them a sense of how to build their portfolios to achieve certain levels of returns that they expect for different levels of risk. And our tools here help you with that decision making, whereby it plots for you 5 different optimal portfolios, each with their own different level of risk and return, and then even goes as far as explaining specifically what trades you should do to achieve this optimal portfolio. Now that I've touched upon a bit of the theory, I'm going to go through the practical element, which is actually walking through how to actually build an efficient frontier. The first step is to simply to create the portfolio. To create a portfolio on our Bloomberg terminal, you will need to run the portfolio administration tool. So for instance, you would run the function PRTU, as you can see at the top, and load the portfolio administration tool. This tool is primarily designed to allow you to create portfolios. So the first step here is to actually go ahead and create the portfolio. So let's select one, create, at the top left corner. We simply need to just enter a name for the portfolio. So for example, I'm going to call it Efficient Frontier 1. I'm just going to keep the other settings here by default and select Create. Now we've been taken to the portfolio display screen. This window here allows you to then input your securities in the portfolio. So just to give an example, you see this orange box here below cash. I'm going to enter in Apple stock. You can enter in the name of the company, or if you know the actual ticker of the company, then you can enter in that as well. It will give you a list of suggested companies, and then you select the one in question. After which, you can specify the number of shares that you wish to own. So I'm just going to put 1,000 here as an example. Now I'm going to go ahead and add in a few more securities. So IBM, and the list goes on. I'm going to use another portfolio that I've done previously to speed up the process. So you can see here, I've created a portfolio of 10 securities and giving them each 1,000 shares holding. And I've also included a cash position of $1 million. Once you're happy with your portfolio, you can hit save in the top left corner to save the portfolio. And then after saving, we can select the Analyze option to actually begin the analysis of the portfolio. Once you hit Analyze, it will load the portfolio into the Portfolio and Risk Analytics System, which is PORT for short, which stands for PORT. Once we're in PORT, we are going to then access the portfolio optimization. So from what you can see here, I'm going to go to the red toolbar up above and then select to choose Launch Optimizer. What's happened is I've launched the portfolio into the portfolio optimization screen. The portfolio optimizer will allow us to create the efficient frontier. And you can see the setup screen for the optimizer is separated into 4 distinct sections. Let's start with step 1. At the first step, we need to specify the goal. Given that we're trying to build an efficient frontier, we need a goal to maximize expected return. So I'm going to choose the pencil icon here, and in the search box, I'm going to search for expected return. From the options available, I choose expected return, user defined. And by default, it's already set to maximize, which is what I want. So that's great. So let's select this. So I've set my goal to maximize expected returns. Now moving on to the second section, which is the trade universe. The trade universe is simply telling the optimizer what securities it can use to trade with to build the frontier. By default, it's already loaded the current portfolio that we have created as the universe. This means the optimizer will only use the securities that are within the portfolio I have created, i.e. the 10 securities that we saw earlier, to perform the optimization, which is fine. So we're going to move on to the third step. Here, with the third step, we're going to go ahead and add a frontier, like so. From the Add Constraint window, as you remember from the Efficient Frontier, the y-axis is the expected return, whilst the x-axis was the portfolio risk, i.e. the standard deviation of the portfolio returns. I'm going to search for total risk. And the one that I want to use is portfolio total risk, which is the predicted volatility of the portfolio return based on our factor model, expressed in percentage. When you select the portfolio total risk, you have to set the range. So I'm going to set a minimum of 5 with the highest of 25. And then I choose select. I'm going to remove the constraint for the turnover just to keep the optimization task simpler. So far, I've created an optimization task to maximize the expected return. My trade universe is the current portfolio, and thirdly, the frontier I've added is the portfolio total risk, whereby the maximum is 5% and the maximum is 25%. Sorry, the minimum is 5%. Lastly, we're going to look at the fourth section of the optimization task. This is with the security properties. So as we've set the goal to maximize expected returns, we need to enter in our expected returns for the securities. If you remember, I created the portfolio with 10 different stocks. So that means I have to enter in 10 separate expected returns for those securities. The quick way to do this is to do the following. As you can see here, there's an Excel output icon. I select this, and what will happen is it will open an Excel file in this format. What you will have to do is enter in the security tickers in this column, in the column A, and then specify the expected returns in column G, under the expected return column. How it would look for me, for my portfolio, is the following. I've listed the securities individually here, and I've given each security my own expected return. Now, what I'm going to do is simply do a drag and drop from Excel into the optimization screen in this box circled here. So what I do is I essentially highlight the securities and expected returns like this, drag and drop into this box, as you can see here. Now, as a result, you can see that now within the optimization task, I've specified the expected return for each of my securities. Now, with the cash, remember I had a million cash USD position. I'm going to increase the maximum weight that I can wish to have in the optimized portfolios. So I'm just going to increase it to 100% so that it gives it more freedom to allocate cash according to what it thinks it should do best. I'm going to reduce the maximum weight for the securities that it could have in the optimized portfolios. I'm going to reduce this down to 20% so that not one security can take too much weight within the portfolios. Once you've come to this stage whereby you've set the goal, set the trade universe, set the frontier to portfolio total risk, and set the minimum max boundaries, you've specified the expected returns for each security and set the minimum and max weights, then we are ready to run the efficient frontier task. So after doing so, we're going to select run in the top left corner. Our portfolio optimization tool will start processing and constructing the efficient frontier. And you will see the task running down below. And once the optimization task finishes the processes, as you can see here, it's plotted for me the efficient frontier. Just to briefly go over it again, with an efficient frontier, the y-axis is your expected return that we've defined, and the x-axis is the portfolio total risk, which is the ex-ante standard deviation of the portfolio return. And below, it's showing you the 5 optimal portfolios that our portfolio optimization has created for us. And as you can see, at different levels of expected return, they'll give you a different expected level of risk. And the interesting thing that you can do is that you can click into any of these 5 portfolios and see what our portfolio tool has suggested that you should buy or sell to get to the optimal portfolio. So for instance, if I wanted to construct portfolio 5, I can simply click into it and it will give me the list of proposed trades. It will tell me what stocks I should buy and which ones I should sell to achieve the optimal portfolio. And this is a very powerful tool for our clients who are interested in constructing an efficient frontier based upon the contents within their portfolio. Just going back to the frontier, I select the frontier tab here. I can select into any of the other portfolios and see what the optimizer has suggested that I should trade to achieve the optimum level of return and risk. So let's take another example, which is portfolio 3. With portfolio 3, or any of the portfolios we've seen, we can actually perform further analysis of each of these portfolios by selecting Analyze Import. And what happens is it will take you back to the Portfolio and Risk Analytics system, which is PORT, and then you can perform further analysis of the actual optimized portfolio here. Now this takes us to the end of this video. I hope this video was clear and useful in helping you. If you wish to learn more on how to create portfolios, you can simply run the you can simply type help PRTU to access the help page for the portfolio administration tool, and then you can select creating a portfolio on the left, and it will walk you step by step on how to create portfolios. If you're interested in learning more about the Portfolio and Risk Analytics system, similarly, you can run help port at the top here to load the Portfolio and Risk Analytics help page. It has a whole load of resources explaining each tab on how to analyze the portfolio, as well as brochures and videos such as this to help you and walk you through other types of analysis that you can conduct on the portfolio. Thank you for your time, and farewell.